This is exactly the outcome that Chicago Bulls fans have been hoping for, as there has been a lot of discussion surrounding Jonathan Kuminga and his future with the Golden State Warriors and how the Chicago Bulls play a major impact in that, with the Bulls being known suitors for Kuminga, wanting his services and believing that he fits in to the team perfectly while also bringing a massive position of need as well for this team. And we're going to go over everything surrounding this situation, including a new trade report surrounding Jonathan Kuminga that is the exact outcome that the Chicago Bulls fans have been hoping for, and we are going to jump right into things as always. But guys, real quick, if you're part of that 71% that's not subscribed to Bulls Digest, make sure to subscribe for daily Chicago Bulls updates. We have a lot of great videos coming at you every single day that you do not want to miss out on. From all of us at Bulls Digest, we are the number one source of news for all things Chicago Bulls. But let's jump into the video. There is a lot to go over on this situation. As we know, Arturas Karnisovas and the Bulls offseason this time around was mainly plagued by the Josh Giddey saga. It took forever to find a common ground for Giddey and the Bulls, despite the fact that Giddey wanted $30 million and the Bulls wanted to give him $20 million per year, and obviously in the middle is $25 million. You wouldn't believe what would have happened. It's almost like Josh Giddey signed for exactly what's in the middle of those two numbers, 25. And, you know, with that happening, and now with that deal fully underway, Giddey on the Chicago Bulls for the next 4 years, what we see is a situation that the Bulls now get to look at other situations or other free agents and other players to target for this team. The thing is, free agency's almost over. The last two guys available are Quentin Grimes and Jonathan Kuminga, who have real value, and Grimes is expected to go back to the Philadelphia 76ers, probably on that qualifying offer, and also Jonathan Kuminga has just had things really, really escalate to the point where now he's down to be at a stalemate till that October 1st deadline, which means things are just going to keep getting crazier and crazier. But we know the Bulls do want to make a move for Kuminga, and we know Kuminga doesn't want to be on the Bulls, or on the Warriors, and would like to play with Josh Giddey. So that gives the Bulls a lot of ground, and because of that, we saw this trade become a now very realistic situation for the Chicago Bulls and the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors need another big man, and on top of that, they need to figure out a way to kind of end this Jonathan Kuminga experiment. Clearly, Kuminga doesn't want to play there, and it doesn't feel like things are going to get better. Kuminga made it very clear he doesn't feel wanted or appreciated by the Warriors, and because of that, wants to move on to a new team. That's completely understandable. He's not the first person to have that idea or want to do that. So when we look at everything surrounding this move, Christopher Klein mentions that Kuminga kind of sort of makes sense in a Chicago Bulls uniform. God knows how badly the Bulls need depth in their front court, especially at the forward positions. Noa Essengue will need a few years to get up to speed, so it's basically Buzelis, Patrick Williams, and spare parts. Kuminga can instantly and incur a primary scoring role for a team that actually fancies itself as a postseason threat. Although we all know Chicago will peak as the 9th seed in a feeble Eastern Conference. Now, Klein continued by saying, in terms of playstyle and personnel, Chicago's roster would accommodate Kuminga quite nicely. Josh Giddey is the perfect egoless star. His entire approach rooted in setting up his teammates with quick hitting passes in transition or in savvy pick and roll feeds in the half court. Chicago's lineup is extremely guard heavy, with a lot of supplementary playmakers stationed around Giddey. That should allow Kuminga to embrace his strengths as a decisive off-ball scorer. And Kuminga last season, despite playing with a multitude of all-stars, put up 15 points per game, 4.6 rebounds, and 2.2 assists. He shot 45% from the field and only shot 30% from three, but with the Bulls, he would have a lot more opportunities to score the ball on all levels and especially get downhill where he is at his best. So obviously, this is a situation where things kind of do work well for the Chicago Bulls, where things really feel like an actual opportunity going forward. I have to stop playing with my hair. I just can't get in a way that I like it. We're going to keep it like this, guys. It's not great, but it's late at night. So here's the deal, guys. When we look at Jonathan Kuminga, when we look at this situation, this is a perfect trade for the Bulls because Kuminga gets to do his thing and he gets to do exactly what he wants. And we've seen him even continue to perform where he put up 15 points per game in the playoffs and shot 40% from three. We've seen Jonathan Kuminga put up good numbers. We know he can do this. He's shot for his career 35.6% from three. So we've seen it. We know he can perform. And with that in mind, and with Josh Giddey being the lead star now, averaging 21.2 points per game since the All-Star break, while also putting up 10.7 rebounds and 9.3 assists, shooting 50% from the field and 46% from three. There's a lot to really like about the future with the Chicago Bulls and why Jonathan Kuminga makes a whole lot of sense as a scorer, especially with Kobe White's days being numbered. Now, on top of this, we look at the Warriors. We know they're going to sign Al Horford, and that is a situation to be aware of considering the Vooch thing. But Horford, who averaged 8 and 6 in the playoffs, is starting to show some signs of age. Though the Warriors are the clear front runners, favorites for him, there still is a lot to consider with this whole situation. And Klein talks about how Vucevic isn't long for Chicago and the Warriors need frontcourt depth. Even with Horford essentially signed, sealed, and delivered, age is a factor for Vucevic and the Warriors as a whole. But he still was extremely productive last season, and there's potential for a lot of fun two-man actions with Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler. And what we saw was Vooch have a great, efficient year last year, putting up 18.5 points, 10 rebounds, and 3.5 assists, shooting 53% from the field and 40% from three. So with all that in mind, Vooch does fit very well on the Warriors, especially when considering that Butler and Draymond Green do not add a lot of shooting from behind the arc. This is a good way to throw some more shooting into that starting lineup as well, helping Steph Curry continue to get open and continue to do his thing. Meanwhile, Klein also mentions that Portland's 2026 first-round pick is lottery protected, so the Bulls aren't risking anything more than the 15th overall pick in addition to Vucevic's expiring contract. While Kuminga is not better than Vucevic right now, his youth and his longer-term contract should mean more for a Chicago team that desperately needs to start planning for the future, not stewing in a perpetually bleak present. And they've started to do that. We've seen DeRozan leave. We've seen Zach LaVine get traded. We've seen the Bulls bring back some more young talent and trying to get this thing right. Trying to build the right way for the first time in a while. And that's obviously a good sign going forwards for the Bulls. Again, you guys caught me touching my hair. But when it comes down to it, when it comes down to the Chicago Bulls, what we see is a situation where things do make sense for them to add another forward in Kuminga. He gives him a lot more room to work. I mean, Okoro's there. Kevin Huerter's more of a wing. Kobe White's not long for this team. So you have a lot of options. And a Kuminga Buzelis small forward, power forward duo, while having Josh Giddey, is a start of a young core that works really well. So that is something that the Bulls should be very interested in because it starts to build them up the very right way. Patrick Williams is still there. You still do have some depth around the area for a team that's not really trying to fully win games right now with a guy like Julian Phillips, who you could hope maybe has a breakout or something like that. And yeah, the big man situation is a little bit not great, having really just Jalen Smith and Zach Collins as bigs, but then you go forwards and you try to contend, and then you understand what you need next in the draft. You go out there, Giddey, Kuminga, Buzelis, that core's probably not going to have a great season. That means you're going to have a pick in the lottery somewhere in this draft. And what that means going forwards is you can look for a big man. And then all of a sudden, you have a lot of the dominoes down. If that big man becomes a generational player or we continue to see Josh Giddey improve, then the Bulls might have a franchise player on their hands. So it does feel like there's a pathway for the first time in a while. It feels like Arturas Karnisovas actually has a plan, which is very, very nice to see. But guys, I do want to hear from you. Do you want to see the Bulls trade for Jonathan Kuminga despite all of this stuff happening surrounding the Bulls and this whole situation? Do you not want to see it? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day. I'll catch you later.